Finally actually here for a stream. Hello, welcome. It's been a while. I didn't stream for a while, so you didn't miss much. I've had like one stream, which was like on Friday night, and that was like the only one I've had this month. So you haven't missed much around here. Sorry, we're just doing some quick searches. I don't know why I started thinking about sex work so much recently. I saw a couple of tweets about like sex work stuff, and then I saw some debates about sex work stuff, and I was like, you know what, we should. I kind of want to look into this a little bit more because I'm like, I don't know what I feel like my followers are like probably very far from me on sex work laws. It'd be kind of interesting to see what the argument against it would be. That's kind of why we're gonna go into some of like the human trafficking stuff with sex work and like whether increases, it decreases, is it good for society? What about all the OnlyFans stuff where like you now have like people owning the means of sex work? Yeah, just a lot of that shit. This is still too loud. There, that might be a little better. I have no idea what my opinion is yet. I would genuinely say it's okay, but probably needs regulation, aka normal businesses. I think that's kind of where I fall on it, because I think a lot of sex workers for a while were against having government regulation on sex work because it makes it harder for them. But I'm like, well, if you want to be taken seriously as like a regular career, though, I feel like you should have to abide by like whatever the regulations on other businesses are. Like if you're setting up your business as sex work, then it has to be like moderated as like a business, right? Like the same way any other business would. So if like even if you're doing like something like OnlyFans, like you gotta file oh god, you gotta like file your taxes and stuff, right? Or like you should have to like I don't know. I feel like OnlyFans is a little different, but like if you're working like a brothel or like a something like that, like I feel like yeah, it's gotta have some regulations. But I don't know. I think like decriminalization versus legalization is a big debate because a lot of sex workers are actually just advocating for decriminalization because it means that they can stay outside the radar of like government regulation. Whereas like anyone fighting for legalization, they say like yeah, like you would be, you know, forced to like operate as a business and like be subject to like government regulation and you know, then you have to pay taxes, you have to set up like an actual business license, all that type of stuff. And I don't know. I've been back and forth a lot on this generally because like I'm pro sex work and I'm pro decriminalization or legalization, but I don't know where I fall on like because I've heard good arguments for decriminalization, I've heard good arguments for legalization. So it's hard. I think one big issue is probably similar to therapy in that it risks about attachment and dependency. Yeah, but we allow therapy. We also allow people to like I think like everything we have is like has risks, like right, like we allow like liquor stores to exist, and that I would argue is probably more harmful than like someone going out and buying sex. As an argument to why it need to be regulated. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I can understand that. That's probably actually a decent argument for why. Why is my hair doing that? What's going on there? Oh, it does not want to go flat. My hair is a fucking mess because I've been literally out of the house all day. Good time. I'm so tired. I don't know why I decided to stream. I think it's gonna be a shorter stream. I streamed for like 3 hours the other night and I was exhausted, and I stayed up for another 2 hours past that because we were playing Among Us until like 4 a.m. in the morning, and I was like, fuck. 4 a.m. in the morning, literally just 4 a.m. It was such a stupid decision. I like just finished finals and I haven't like I've been on constant go 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 since finals ended. Why is my Nightbot not in chat? I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, how you been though? What have you been up to? Oh, let's go back to this. Where's sex work legal? So it's in most of Australia. Where's this? Turkey, Germany, the Netherlands. Greece, we got Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia. That's interesting. I thought abolition. Prostitution is illegal, brothels and solicitation illegal. Interesting. Prostitution illegal, brothels and solicitation illegal. So they seem to all be kind of similar. I'm surprised how many countries are more like limited legality than I thought. Like I thought more of Africa would have it as illegal. I thought also more of South America would have it as illegal. I'm kind of surprised at the rates over here, whereas like everything else kind of makes sense to me. Let's see these little countries. Indonesia obviously has. New Zealand. But Bangladesh? Yeah, it is. Bangladesh has legal sex. Really? Are any of these? No, these are all in the red. I have no idea where that is. I'm bad at geography. And legal. Oh yeah, okay, in the States it's like mixed. Not much. Though work literally flipped my sleep schedule completely. I had a sleep shift at work, sleeping from 12 to 6, yet somehow fell asleep at 11. Excuse me. The next morning I did sleep that night until 8. Oh damn, Jesus. Do you work like graveyard shifts? I feel like we've talked. Oh no. No. We've talked about this. God damn. I work all the shifts. Damn. I'm not working right now, which I'm kind of happy about. Because I don't think I would have made it through the semester without that. Why is Brazil like that? Wait. No. What is this? Iceland? Why? Greenland. Oh, no information on that. Norway. Is that Iceland there? Illegal. Okay. Interesting. Greenland never has information. Really? Do people live in Greenland? Is there actually anyone living in Greenland? Or is Greenland like dead? Is there just no one there? Am I stupid? Yeah, people live there. But it never has data. Oh. Interesting. I actually didn't. Is it just like, huh? What is the population of Greenland? Can you even get a population? Or is that. Oh! Is it really that low? On that big fucking place? 56,000? As of 2020. Yeah, map distortions, but still, I feel like Greenland's not that small. Interesting. Anyway. Okay, legal stance on prostitution. I think we should go through this and then kind of talk about what the best ones are, but there's not that many people here. I shouldn't stream on Monday night or Sunday nights. I feel like no one ever shows up on Sunday nights. Cut my hair this week too, and it's fine throughout the day, but when I'm streaming and I have to like look down, it always falls into my eyes. Good. So we got prohibitionism. Prostitution is illegal across the board. Selling, buying, organizing, being brothel pimps, and soliciting sex for money are all against the law. The approach is common in deeply religious countries. And then you have neo-abolitionism. The philosophy considers prostitution to be violence against women. Selling sex is technically legal, but buying, organizing, and soliciting sex are illegal. Prostitutes are considered legally blameless when caught in the act, but their clients and pimps, prostitute organizer, or boss are prosecuted. This reverse loophole is designed to suppress demand. Oh my god, Ed! Hello! How's it going? Good. Oh, thank you. I cut my hair before my last final. I finished my finals on Thursday last week, or this Thursday on the 11th. I finished on the 11th, so I'm officially done. I'm free for the summer. I'm so excited. I have a week. I have like a month off. I go back on like September 6th or 7th next semester, and I'm like, oh my god, I have so much free time and I don't know what to do with myself. Like I actually am like, I haven't been this free in so long. I don't know what to do. I'm like panicking, having anxiety over like not doing anything. But it's good. I'm feeling better about it. Got through all of them. Let's go. Wonderful. I know. I like pop in for streams, but like literally when I was studying and writing my papers, because I had a wedding week, and Indian weddings are like that whole week long. So I was like, I had the whole wedding, and then I had a bunch of like stuff happen in the next week, like personal, like family stuff that like got really hard. So that was going on, and then I was writing my papers for my finals, and then I was writing my actual finals, and so I had 2 finals and I had 2 final papers, and it was such a shit show of like 3 weeks that I like couldn't stream. I didn't even watch streams. I barely watched YouTube. Like I barely had any free time. I was just so stressed out for like 3 weeks straight. But now everything's kind of calmed down, so we're mellowing out now. It's okay. We're okay. Gotten better. How have you been? You've been streaming less. I was like, where is all my Ed streams? What am I supposed to watch when I'm like working, you know? Free time is, what is this? Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're just going through the different types of like legal stances on sex work before we kind of talk about which ones are kind of preferable, because this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately, because my opinions keep changing between decriminalization and legalization a lot, and I still don't know where I fall, but I think it'd be kind of interesting, especially if other people get in here, we could kind of talk about what, but I feel like my whole chat is going to just be anti-sex work, so I have no idea. We'll see. A lot of conservatives in my community, so this should be interesting. So we got prohibitionism, we're on neo-abolitionism. Abolitionism is the most prevalent approach worldwide. Selling sex and buying sex are both legal. However, in an effort to prevent exploitation of sex workers, public solicitation, the operation of brothels and form of organizations such as pimping, procuring, and forced prostitution are usually prohibited. Is that what we are? Yeah, I mean, you look like it from the party pics you sent. Yeah, literally, it was so intense. It was so much going on all the time. What are we at? We're at neo-abolitionism. Who has just straight up abolition? Is there any abolitionist countries? I wonder if any of these are just, probably if it's gonna be anywhere, it's gonna be UK or Europe probably. Abolitionism. Finland. Limited legality. Okay. So abolitionism is the most prevalent approach. They're both legal, but public solicitation is not. Interesting. Okay, then we have legalization. Selling, buying, and some forms of organizing, typically brothels and soliciting sex, are illegal, but they are also regulated, such as requiring prostitutes to register or only allowing prostitution in certain districts. Then decriminalization. Selling, buying, organizing, and solicitation of sex are all legal or simply not addressed in the law at all and are subject to minimal or no special regulations. And some countries such as Australia and the United States, state and local governments have additional laws regarding prostitution. Okay. So we're kind of going through like legalization versus decriminalization versus prohibition, because the rest of these are like kind of more intricate, but I feel like these are the 2 big ones that people talk about, are legalization versus decriminalization, especially when we're talking about like allowing sex work. Something being legal to sell but illegal to buy seems like such a strange concept. I think that's what we have in Canada. I think it's legal to sell sex, like you can sell sex, but you can't buy sex. I'm pretty sure it's like I forget what it's called, but it's like it's like the John's fault or something like that. Like it's like you have like the Jane is usually like the sex worker, and the John is like the person buying, because typically female male correlated, but it's like they'll only prosecute the buyer, which I don't know how that would work. How do you get interesting? An important note that the country's law often fail to paint an accurate yeah, I think that's what's in Canada. I'm pretty sure. Actually, oh, we can just probably look up here, actually. Canada. Illegal neo-abolitionism. Selling is legal, but buying it... Yeah, see, yeah. Selling is legal. Sex work in many neo-abolitionist countries have found loopholes that have enabled prostitution to thrive despite seemingly strict laws. You're knowingly selling something that people cannot buy, especially if the person doesn't know it's illegal to buy and someone says it's legal to sell. That can be entrapment, no? I think maybe, but it's usually one of those things that like ignorance of the law isn't like a defense for breaking the law, so I would assume that wouldn't work because they couldn't really call it entrapment, like unless like you're taking advantage of somebody. Get rid of that wire. There we go. Prostitution in Canada is legal with strict regulations. Under the Protection of Communities Exploited Persons Act, it is illegal to communicate with the intention of selling sex. Oh, it's legal to communicate with the intention of selling sex. However, it is illegal to communicate with the intention of buying sex. So if you go up to someone and you're like, hey, I'm gonna sell you sex, that's okay. But if someone comes up to you and you're like, you know what, I want to buy sex from you, that's illegal. Interesting. And it's illegal to purchase sex services. It is legal for sex workers to advertise their own services, but not other services. It's also illegal to sell sex near any area where a minor under 18 can reasonably be expected to present, such as schools, playgrounds. These are just provisions of the law. Thailand, prostitution is legal in Thailand, but the laws are ambiguous and often unenforced. As a result, red light districts, massage parlors, go-go bars are common sites. Yeah, Thailand I know is like really well known for specific types of sex work. Okay, we don't really need to. So yeah, I guess this is what's called the Nordic model. So we have Bill C-36. I wonder if I can. Protection of Community and Exploited Persons Act, introduced by the Conservative Party, of course, obviously. I'm shocked. Okay, so talking about I should actually pull up this bill. Bill C-36. I feel like I remember when this went in. Yeah, 2014. It wasn't that long ago. The legislation was opposed by all opposition parties, including Liberals, who declared that the legislation was unconstitutional and did not follow the guidelines set out in Bedford v. Canada. Justin Trudeau promised to further reform BC-36 during his 2015 federal election campaign. As of 2021, there's been no reformation of the bill. Shocking! Trudeau not holding through on promises. Are we even surprised? Not anymore. The bill treats sex work as a form of exploitation and sexual inequality. The criminal code only addressed women and girls in the legislation. Is that real? Wait, really? We're gonna pull up BC 36 quick. I know I've read the bill before in like a class, but I haven't really gone through it in a long time. Shocked Peach. Let's see. Bill C-36. How long is it? Is it short? It's pretty long. Okay, we'll just quickly go through like the synopsis. Okay. Let's just go through this summary. This enactment amends the criminal code to create recognizance to keep the peace relating to hate propaganda, hate crime. Wait, what? No. That's the wrong bill. No. It's not C-30. Wait, what just happened? C-36. Hello. How's it going? Once again, men don't get protected. Time to rant. Honestly, wait, yeah, I guess this is why like people had such a big issue with it. I did not realize it did not provide provisions for. Why is it when you type in Bill C-36 the wrong bill comes up? What is going on? What's happening? This one. Let's see. Go through this bill. Control F prostitution. Okay, so Bill C-36, protection of communities and exploited person act to receive royal. Okay, I don't care about any of this. Protect those who sell their own sexual services. Protect communities, especially children, from the harms caused by prostitution, and reduce the demand for prostitution and its incidents. The new criminal law regime seeks to protect the dignity and equality of all Canadians by denouncing, prohibiting the purchase of sexual services, the exploitation of prostitution of others, the development of economic interest in sexual exploitation of others. Okay, can I get the actual? Okay. Purchasing offenses, obtaining sexual services for consideration or communicating in any place for that purpose. Those who sell their own sexual services are protected from criminal liability for participating in the commission of this offense, and the offense relates to their own sexual services. Oh, okay. That's not bad then. That's not terrible. That it at least protects the person who's selling. Adult victim. Dual procedure offense with maximum penalty 5-year imprisonment is prosecuted of indictment and 18 months if prosecuted by summary conviction. The offense criminalizes purchasing sexual services or communicating in any place for that purpose for the time in Canadian law. Since prostitution is a transaction that involves both the purchase and the sale of sexual services, the new purchasing offense makes prostitution illegal. Every time the prostitution transaction takes place, an offense is committed by the purchaser. Okay, that's good. At least I guess our laws at least protect sex workers. But the problem is I've heard from a lot of sex workers that they don't like this bill. But I think it's because it criminalizes their clientele, probably. I would assume that's the biggest issue. But I think we'll go into that after, issues with the Nordic model of sex work laws. Because I know a lot of sex workers have issues with this. But I just can't think of what... I guess, like, again, yeah, it's criminalizing your clientele. It automatically, like, your work is, like, de facto illegal. You just can't be charged for it, but it means that you also probably can't work as easily. I guess it would also push you into fringes where you can't receive the help you need, like, especially if things happen, because people are only going to do it in sketchy ways. Your work is basically illegal with a smiley face. Yeah, and I guess, like, the bigger issue would be, like, if you're doing sex work and soliciting, and then someone buys from you, they're probably only gonna buy in like super shady ways where you're pushed into like illegal arenas because the only people who can buy it are committing illegal acts. So it's harder to get help from the police because you're already running in illegal rings. I would assume that's actually probably the bigger issue, because normal people wouldn't be able to purchase sex work, but people who run in like illegal rings and are willing to buy from, like, they'll only buy from like places where they know they won't get caught, and those places probably aren't the nicest places to the actual sex workers. I could see that being an issue. This is why OnlyFans is good, okay? OnlyFans has given us like sex work that is like probably like safer than any sex work that's ever happened in history. Advertising offense. Knowingly advertising an offer to provide sexual service for consideration. Those who sell their own sexual services are protected from criminal liability for committing this offense if they advertise their own sexual services. I don't see anything about this just protecting women though. But this isn't the actual bill. Can I find the actual bill, like the wording of the real bill? What was the Bedford v. Attorney General? Bedford versus Supreme Court. Canada declared unconstitutional 3 criminal code offenses addressing prostitution-related conduct on the basis they violated Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. protection. Section 7 protects the right to life, liberty, security of person, the right to not be deprived thereof, exception in accordance with the principle of fundamental justice. Prohibition on keeping or being in a bawdy house for the purpose of prostitution. Prohibition of living on the avails of prostitution. Prohibition on communicating in public for the purpose of prostitution. You're working. Okay, let's see. Objectives. The majority of those who sell their own sexual service are women and girls. Marginalized groups such as Aboriginal women and girls are disproportionately represented. She's sleepy. I am sleepy, but I wanted to stream before I went to bed. So it's going to be a short stream. We're probably going to end around midnight tonight. But I figured I'd do a short stream on this. I don't see a reason sex can't be a service to be purchased so long as it's highly protected. Yeah, I think like I like the music. Oh, it's just the only music I can find that won't get copyright claimed. I got two videos that I have that I switch between. But I think I like this one better. It's just trying to get the levels right on this one. Yeah, that seems like the best thing. But I think like the question is like, I think one of the big questions right now is like, sex workers, a lot of them wanted to keep it decriminalized because it means less regulations on their work. But is it better to go against like the wants of sex workers at the time? Because it's better overall for for that service industry generally, because you'll be more accepted as like regular business. Or is it better to placate like actual sex workers and say like, this is what you want, so this is what the laws will be? But I'm like leaning towards like legalization and away from like the decisions of sex workers, only because I think it's better to have regulations and protections on it, and then also like have it become like normal business, so it destigmatizes the issues around sex work, rather than just like, because I get it, like you don't want your business regulated, it's harder to run, you'd have to register with the government and all this type of stuff, but I still think that's better overall for the industry of sex work, even if individual sex workers are less privy to like that decision, just because I think like having individual, like, because then like I'm trying to think. I mean, you want the respect of normal businesses without any of the responsibility. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the thing. Is like if we want to give it the same like level of respect and same level of like consideration as other businesses, then I feel like it has to be treated like those businesses. And the only way to do that is if you legalize it and then regulate it like a regular business. Which means you have to pay taxes. You'd have to register with the government as a business entity. But I think I'd be okay with that. I think that's a good decision. Especially since sex is such an emotional act for some people, it'd be like therapists complain they're too regulated. Yeah, I think that's the other thing. Well, you also get into like, if you get into like legal trouble, like if all of a sudden like, you get into like some shady business, or if like something, like some type of assault happens, it's easier to get protections from the police force and the Justice Department if you are within a legal regulated act. Because like if you're selling like lemonade or maybe that's not good. Well, even that, actually, yeah, if you're like selling lemonade on the street and like someone come and like fucks up your business, you're probably not going to be insured or liable. Like there's not going to be any like liability. You're not going to get like a civil suit out of that. I mean, I guess you could if you like personally sue them. But if you're like a business entity, you could have like more insurance on your business. So if like an assault happens or if something happens, you're more protected. So I think that's like the other reason. Fuck, that's a hard question. Let's see if oh, I actually want to read this. Does legalized prostitution increase human trafficking? I think this is the big thing. Is like usually people, I don't know, no one's in chat right now that would be against prostitution, but I would like to hear arguments from the other side. But for me, it's like the only thing that I ever hear is like, oh, it increases like human trafficking, but I don't think that's true. We'll read through this, but it's like just a regular article. But we could probably go into studies about like whether it increases. I think a lot of people only think it is from one side in terms of protection too, which is weird. Yeah, but it's not. Um, Heard a story of a guy that got robbed by two prostitutes in a hotel. He went to complain to the front desk to have them call 911, but the front desk guy was like, "You want the cops to know you hired two sex workers?" He got mad and walked away. Lol. I mean, yeah, that's true. And I think that's the other thing is like you want to be able to protect like customers too, right? Like if you buy from a company, you want to feel like that company, like you got like that service out of the company. But now like currently, like if you buy from like this, like, and if sex workers want to be taken seriously as like tend to be a Trumpy for the night. Oh God. No, because I want to hear like actual. What are the actual like arguments against sex work? I feel like human trafficking, social morale is one of the big ones, like and so, like social ethics. I don't know. Worried about situations where retracted consent isn't protected. Or oh, that's true. Because you already paid for a service, so you expect to get that service. Yeah, there's probably an STD argument, like it increases the rate of STDs, but that's usually not true because a lot of like prostitutes, like actually I think they did a recently in Australia. It showed that like STDs was lower among prostitutes, but that's because they have to be so careful because that's their whole business, right? Like you wouldn't want to get STDs because you know like your whole thing is selling sex. So if you have STDs, you're less likely to get clients. So it's probably a bad argument because I think like generally prostitutes have lower rates because they're tested so often, and they typically take like really high rates of like protection. I feel like it's generally an ethic thing, like trying to implement religious beliefs into law. Yeah, I think so. It's not even necessarily always religious. A lot of it is just like sexual repression, which might stem out of religion, but I think it's a lot of like breaking down of like family and social norms. Yeah, people will think that even if it's a bad argument. But like with like prostitution and stuff, I think a lot of people think of it leading to like breakdown in like family values and sex, and like monogamous partnerships because you're encouraging like casual sex. So that's one of them. But it's a hard argument. It's a hard sell. Oh my God, these. It's just they usually stay up, but I'm sweating so much right now because I've been out all day, and now my bangs keep falling because I'm sweating. Anyway, okay. Human trafficking leaves no land untouched. In 2013, the U.S. Department 27 million victims worldwide. Okay, I just want to get to the answer. My hair was super flat today, too hot. Yeah, literally. Countries with legalized prostitution are associated with higher human trafficking inflows than countries where prostitution is prohibited. The scale effect of legalizing prostitution expansion of the market outweighs the substitution effect where legal sex workers are favored over illegal workers. On average, countries with legalized prostitution report a greater incidence of human trafficking inflows. I wonder if part of that could become from the fact that like with legalized sex work, you're also going to find more incidents of human trafficking because people are more willing to come out and come forward. Because it's legal, you have more people reporting. So that could be a reason why. So it'd be interesting if they had like controls on for that, like for just like rates of report. There's two sides, both buyer and seller. Let's say the buyer purchases services, but the seller wants to stop halfway through. You need some way to confirm that what happened there, else it gets really freaking complicated. Prosecutor defend. Then there's a case where the buyer decides that they don't actually want to go through with it. What happens? What if they're forced to keep going? Would you be able to get a case through? Yeah, it's hard when you get money involved because especially for a seller, for a buyer, you can back out of an agreement at any time, right? Like if you're a buyer and you back out, like you already pay for the prostitute's time, you probably would have to pay. Like if you pay for a spa treatment and want to leave halfway through, you usually still have to buy, right? So it'd probably be the same thing there. But whereas like the seller, it's a lot scarier because you've had this person pay for your time, and if you want to back out, you have to like return all the money. But like it can get into weird territory if this person's like, no, I paid for a service, I want this service. I feel like if the buyer wants to stop, the seller would generally be fine with it, and it would be like general business, and you wouldn't get money back. Like if you order food and don't eat it, you don't get a refund. Yeah, that's like, yeah, I think from that side it's okay, but from the seller side it can be scary, especially if someone's already if someone pays ahead. Yeah. But you'd have to have like maybe contract agreements in for that. Like if you're like, and that's the other thing is like if you legalize prostitution instead of just decriminalizing, you could set contracts that people have to like agree to beforehand of like, if this person wants to back out, then like it would be okay to back out, and you would get a full refund even if like if like the prostitute wants to back out. So I think like that's why, again, like I lean toward legalization, because you could have contract settings like that. Whereas like if you just decriminalize, if it's just not in the law, it's a little bit different. Government mandated voyeurism. Yeah, literally. Hello, Bendrum. Welcome. So yeah, I think that's like the difference is I think I always end up leaning towards legalization rather than decriminalization. And I know a lot of sex workers disagree with that, but I think there's a lot of sex workers who see the value in like the legalization process and like becoming more accepted, like and because even decriminalization, it's like, oh, you're right wing. I love it. I want more right wing people. Okay, I like right wing people coming into my chat just because it gives me the other side. I like to see the other side of arguments. That's the whole point. That's why I stream. I want people to come in here and fight with me. So what is your, we're talking about prostitution and sex work right now. So what are your opinions on that? And why? If you have opinions on it. I don't know if you do. The effect of legal prostitution on human trafficking flows is stronger in high-income countries than middle-income countries because the trafficking for purpose of sexual exploitation requires clients in potential destination countries have sufficient purchasing power. That makes sense. Criminalization of prostitution in Sweden resulted in shrinking of the prostitution market and decline of human trafficking inflows. I'm sure obviously it would reduce the prostitution market, but the decline of human trafficking inflows. I wonder if like a lot of that comes down to the fact that like, again, prostitutes who are in shady situations are less likely to report because they're scared of getting prosecuted themselves. That's the only thing where it becomes hard to like detect these, detect the difference. They shouldn't be regulated. Really? Wait, why? Usually it should just be like free, like whatever they want to do, however they want to run their business, no regulations on it. Always been a black market kind of transaction. Yeah, but that's what's led to like huge influxes of like human trafficking and stuff, right? There we go. And that's the problem with like having the you don't want to keep it as a black market transaction because that's where you get to like shady territory with women getting assaulted. Human trafficking is, Jesus Christ. Okay, whatever. Not an argument. Lame. Be smarter, please. Criminalization of prostitution in Sweden resulted in oh, okay, we just read that one. Type of legalization of prostitution does not matter. It only matters whether prostitution is legal or not. Whether third-party involvement in persons who facilitate prostitution business, pimps, is allowed or not does not have an effect on human trafficking inflows. He collapsed the border security. I don't even know how to respond to this. Human trafficking doesn't just come from like border security. You realize that, right? I feel like that's pretty known. Immigrants at an all-time high. Yeah, your country runs on immigrants, okay? I don't know if you should be complaining about that. I love conservatives always like rant and rave about the like influx of immigrants, but like your country would not run without your immigrant population. Okay. Democracies have higher probability of increased human trafficking inflows than non-democratic countries. There's a 13.4 higher probability of receiving higher inflows in democratic country than otherwise. That's shocking. I guess not really though, because if you have a democratic country, you might have like less like restrictions. Lol, true, but it's a form of outsourcing. Any chuds in here? Probably just you. Hot take, immigration is bad because it makes people more white culturally, which is racist. Wait, what? What? I don't even know what you mean by that. Isn't Detroit like human trafficking capital of NA? That's just within the US? Yo, what's up? How's it going? Is that true? Does Detroit have like the highest trafficking of Wait, what is NA? Nashville? Texas folk is suffering, not us. What is Texas suffering with? Isn't Texas like doing really well right now? Even with like the immigrant inflow? Chuds, we must stay together and fight the Democrats. On what? You guys always... What are you bitching and complaining about on the Democrats anyway? North America. Oh. It's up there, but not the first anymore. Highest human trafficking. Oh, what the fuck was I spelling trafficking in North America? When you immigrate to America, you get more white. Therefore, since we don't want more whiteness, we don't let them suffer. Immigrants. Okay, I really hope you're trolling right now, bro. My god. Hi, Rams. Immigration also forced exposure and white people to experience other cultures too, though. Yeah, that's actually kind of true. That's the other thing, is like you kind of want like diversity within a country so that it forces people to be more open. Imagine desperate people passing through your backyard every day. What? Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought that was about the sex trafficking and not the Mexican immigration. I mean, they're not really going through anyone's like back. It's like one of those things where it's like, fuck. I don't know if I'm ready to have a whole conversation on immigration right now. But like the States is not going to survive without immigration. So like we can complain. I think like for me, immigration in the US needs to be like highly reformed. Like your immigration process is so shit right now. The amount of time it takes, the amount of processing it takes is ridiculous. That's why you have so many illegal immigrants, because people can't actually like, people want to immigrate faster, but your immigration process is garbage. Like absolutely garbage. And it has been for decades. If they actually reformed the immigration process and got had better routes for people to immigrate properly, you wouldn't have the same issues you're having right now. You wouldn't have this border crisis because people would be able to immigrate properly. I feel like you could end up in the middle somewhere. Democrats brainwash people into believing their stupid agendas. What do you think the fucking conservatives do? Do you think that the conservatives are any better? That's like the whole point of politics. You want to brainwash people into believing what you believe so you can get the policies you want passed. The fuck? Conservatives brainwash people all the time. Everything, like, my fucking hell. What are we talking about? We're talking about prostitution and sex work laws. They also aren't going to be running through the backyard if they're okay to come in legally. Yeah, exactly. You just have to, how do y'all turn every discussion to immigration? Are you an anime type of chick? I mean, I watch anime. I don't know what that means. I don't know what an anime type chick means. I do watch anime sometimes. I've watched a decent amount of my life. Blame Biden? Blame Biden for what? The immigration stuff? Well, no, because your immigration policies have been jack shit for years. Someone just needs to fix it. Someone actually needs to like put together a proper immigration plan so that people can actually immigrate better. I feel this is all about bringing down American and making it part of the global community for one world government. Oh, okay, we're getting into conspiracy territory. Love it. What, just the immigration stuff? Or like, I don't know what that's in reference to. Because if you want to talk about the immigration stuff, it's actually, it'll boast, immigration is the only thing bolstering you guys right now. Just throwing it out there. Blame Hunter Biden to Mr. Cracklips. What are you on about? Bro, chill. Stay on one topic. Yamshin Red Light Girl is a great example of regulation on prostitution. Tried to fix it. When? He tried to build a wall. He spent a fucking shit ton of money on trying to build a wall. That was not helpful. That didn't do shit. Unless he had a better immigration plan that I just totally missed. But like, you spent all this money trying to build like a shit ass wall instead of actually just, oh my god, Tom the Numb, what's happening? It's been a while, haven't seen you around. GOPs will find any reason to blame Biden, literally. We need more Hispanics in America. Oh, there, that's the spirit. Oh, okay. Chat's riling up today. Trump trying to slow immigration, attempting and failing to build a useless wall didn't do anything, y'all. Slow does not equal fix. Yeah. Here's a plan. Build the wall. Make Mexico pay. Give huge discounts to Jesus Christ. Okay. I blame Biden for having a president named Joe. We should never have a president named Joe. Damn. White man banned, down with white man. What are we talking about? What do you mean white man? No, what is happening? Y'all wilding up in here. Okay. It's an all-time high under Biden. He defunded the Border Patrol too. Derail. Oh god. What are we derailing to? We're already derailed. Is it actually at an all-time high? Because I know immigration, like illegal immigration, usually increases at the time of when Democrats take over because they're usually less strict on Border Patrol. But that's always like, it's always like usually like a fucking wave whenever it goes from like conservative to Democrats. But again, it's like people keep wanting to put like regulations on like, you know, immigration, and like you guys, like every president comes in always has like this immigration plan, and they're like, it's always such a stupid like band-aid fix, but it's like, you know what would actually fix your immigration problem? Actually having good immigration policy. Like make the immigration the time and the process to immigrate easier, make it shorter, make it more concise, make it accessible to people, and then you won't have this fucking problem with like illegal immigrants, and you won't have to build a fucking wall because you won't have this issue. Oh my god. How do you get a Latina like you? How the fuck am I supposed to know? Best anime. Yeah, Death Note. Death Note's probably one of my favorites, and same with Full Metal. I haven't watched like a shit ton of anime, but Akame ga Kill was really good, and then there was one called K. Both of those were smaller animes, and both were really good. 2,000 immigrants in a month. Can you send me a link to those numbers? Because I'm not gonna take your word for it, but if you have a link to like an article that shows those. I hope Trump wins so Biden can finally spend some time with his family. I hope not. My god, I know he's running again. Is he running conservative or is he running third party? I don't, has he announced that yet? Because if he runs conservative, and I know, what's his face, the Florida guy, DeSantis is also planning to, what is happening? DeSantis is also planning to run conservative. I hope they split the conservative vote, and then the conservatives can't win. If Trump and DeSantis run, the conservatives have no chance. Illegal immigration is out of control, and the cartel raping women and throwing kids over the wall. No joke, I live in Arizona. Again, I would need to see, like, do you have any articles on this? Like, is this actually happening? I'm assuming you're not standing at the, like, border wall every day and, like, watching them toss kids over. Hey, oh, hi, Wolf Skeptic. How's it going? And there we go. MHA, I don't know which one MHA is. You don't have to be mean. Who am I being mean? Wait, what happened? What did you ask? Oh, shit, my bad. I'm a bitch, okay? I fight with chat, okay? I'm not nice to anybody. Evangelion for me personally, he's running Republican for sure. Is he? Okay. I heard like talks of him running third party, so I wasn't sure if he was actually planning to run third party or conservative. But if he runs conservative and the like DeSantis runs conservative, I hope they split the Republican vote hardcore, because a lot of people, because Trump, I don't remember who said, someone said, yeah, Trump is running a cult. If Trump doesn't win the primaries, a lot of Trump followers will not vote DeSantis because they'll be pissed that Trump didn't win. And that's just how it's gonna go. And then the Democrats will take it for sure. Though I kind of hope that Biden doesn't run again. I hope that he ends after one term and somebody else steps in. Not Kamala Harris. Anyone but her. Download GTA. I will. You'll never do it. Trump will win, Dems will cry. Doubt it. I don't think he'll win. It's possible, but I don't think enough, like, I don't think he has enough, I think especially after January 6th, I don't think he has enough support from, like, the Republican Party to, like, have that happen. Yes, there's videos of it. Okay, send links. Let me see. I live in Arizona and you're completely wrong, especially since Arizona is busting them all up to DC, spent $3 million doing that. Yeah, I heard that. A lot of the immigrants coming up are not like staying in Texas or Arizona or at the states at the border. A lot of them are moving like north, being sent up north. Oh, My Hero Academia. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. That's true, folks. She ain't a nice person. Like, oh my god, such a beach. Yeah. Hey, look, a lot of people on Twitch develop relationships with their community, and then all these people have like these weird parasocial relationships. I just want you guys to know I'm not your fucking friend, okay? I'm not building those parasocial shit. I don't like it. I don't like it. It freaks me out when people get like, they're like, oh yeah, this streamer's like my best friend because we talk every night. No, stop it. The girl's bangs really pissed me off. Is this a wig? No, it's not. I just cut my hair last week. And, wait, what happened? What did you do? Maxwell. Why did you time him out? Shame on you for not being terminally online, honestly. No, but like some of the weird Twitch stuff, like the parasocial relationships get really fucking weird. So I'm like always like very crystal clear when I like stream that I'm like, don't call me your friend. I'm gonna be mean to all of you so that none of you think I'm your friend. Amsterdam was famous to a spot for prostitution. The government tried to regulate it because it was in the city center. Isn't there still like high rates of prostitution in Amsterdam? I feel like, didn't Biden already kind of say he won't do another? No, I think he is planning to. What did you delete by the moderator? Wait, who's moderating? Is that Rams? Are you moderating? Who the fuck deleted messages? Stop it. What happened? Video shows toddlers being dropped over border wall. They were getting feisty. I want people to get feisty. It's fine. People can get feisty as long as they don't get racist. They're getting too feisty. There's one video of it, so I guess that happens every day, all day. Oof. Yeah, if you have like one video and you're like, this is happening all the time, then probably not a great statistic. I ain't do nothing, me, I explained. Oh, no, they moved it to the outskirts and plunged 100 girls into disparity. Oh shit, that's not good. Sex work is such a hard, oh, fuck. I don't think governments ever know how to like manage sex work that's happening in the cities, because I think so many people are so stupidly against sex work that like governments are very hesitant to like allow it or legalize it because they think they'll get like a lot of backlash from like the actual communities, or not from the communities, but from like their general society. Wow, you're sick. Do you think that's okay? I don't think he said it was okay. He's saying that like it happening in one video once doesn't mean that there's like it's happening every day. Don't, like, you're misinterpreting exactly what he said. He's like, you're full of shit, stop blowing things out of proportion. Yeah, like if you have like multiple videos of this happening all the time, sure. But like if it was like one video of it happening one time, then it's not really like fair to say that like this is happening all the time. It's happening every day. Is there any way to see what the messages were that you timed out? Oh, thank you for the follow, Toxic Logo. Um, um, it is true the cartels are running rogue because no border patrol. Yeah, no, but that's the thing is like because a lot of people tend to blow things out of proportion. It's. I mean, I talk about it on the left all the time, but the right wingers do it too. Like everyone wants to like, if they see a story that like follows their narrative, they'll take it and like run it to the ends of the earth and be like, this is happening all the time. And it happens on the left too. But like saying something like you see one video and then be like, look at this is. Oh, it wasn't related to the topic at all. Oh, okay. I just want to see what the. I always want to see what it is, or politics in general. I just want to see what the. I don't know if I can see them though.
Your journey begins with play. Get 30 days free. Get 1 credit a month for any title, plus thousands of other included titles free.
Oh, thank you for the follow, Ben.
Just sign up and listen.
I'm personally against human traffic. Nothing is worse than a long queue to get anywhere.
Tailor solutions for your business. Big.
What the fuck?
Small.
Why are you always coming in with the weirdest?
Healthcare and more.
Okay.
Perfect fit for your business.
AWS
is how.
What were we looking at? The conversation got so derailed in chat. I like totally fucked off from what we were talking about. Oh, we were talking about okay. This is what we were talking about. The different types of like prostitution and what are like the different laws. I was just gonna talk about legalization versus decriminalization, but then I forgot all of my chat is like right wing and they're all gonna like hate sex work. So I was like, damn, should have changed my topic just slightly. Cause I'm like, oh, should we go between legalization and decriminalization? Everyone else is like, except for me. Yeah. You know what? No, my chat has gotten more left wing. You're an ANCOM? Wait, a narco communist? Oh, thanks for yeah, my hair is kind of a fuck mess right now, but thank you. Thank you, Ash's cat. I can't read. I don't have my glasses on. What is wrong with sex work? I've been plenty of countries where it is legal and acceptable. I think that's like the thing is like there's always a really big discussion around whether it's like good for the moral of society, whether it's good for like human trafficking rates. Oh yeah, okay, anarcho-communist. See, I think I had this chat on Friday night. We had a big conversation about communism versus capitalism because there was two people in my chat fighting for a good amount of time about that. I like the idea of communism in like theory, but I don't, and same with anarchism. Like either of them are both like, they're good in theory, but like I don't think they work for actual human society. I don't think like you could ever have like proper anarchy or communism in our societies just because the way that people work. I was watching a documentary about Indian communities run on prostitution. Hard disagree. Wait, about what? Oh, yeah. I mean, we can disagree on that. I just think, like, it's... For me, communism is anarchy or communism are both really hard sells. When you don't, like... The idea of a stateless society with, like, the way human behave, I don't think it's ever feasible. Because both, like, anarchy and communism are both, like, anti-state modes of societies? Modes of running society. And a lot of them have to do with like community governments and self-governance, whereas like I don't think it's a feasible way for like humans to live because I think there's too much disagreement and I think there's always too much people are like greedy inherently, so I think it's really hard. The class-based community, priestess, or other types. Wait, oh shit. What is this documentary on prostitution in India? Prostitution in India as a whole, I'm Indian, so I know it's not good out there, but like that's because there's a whole host of like other problems with like policing and regulations in India, so that's a whole other issue. When I'm talking about like prostitution currently, I'm talking about like in Western countries where you could regulate these things in a healthy way. What's your stance on religion? Are you personally religious? No, I am not religious, and I think to me, religion, I'm hesitantly against. I know it can help a lot of people, but I think religion, in a lot of cases, does a lot more harm than good. At least, like, especially a fundamentalist religions and anything that's like monotheistic religions, I think, are some of the worst. And then anyone who's like a fundamentalist of any religion, I think is not super healthy. So generally, I lean against religion. You do know there was plenty of stateless societies in recent past that thrived before European colonialism. Even in Europe there was, but again, those were very different societies in a very different world. There's probably still like current like communities in the world, like probably in like untouched areas of like the world, you know, in tribes that like still that still probably live stateless. But if you have like broader societies or broader communities where you have to do trades, where you're trading between like large communities and like the way we live now, I don't think it's feasible unless you would have to go back to like everyone living in small tribes, living in tiny communities of like anywhere from like 100 to 1,000 people at the most, right? I don't think you could like have like a globalist society that's communist, because there would be no way. Also, like running like any type of like a lot of those tribes, like yeah, you can say like they're communistic like in their practices, but when it comes to like taking care of crime and all those type of things, they don't have the same systems that we do when it comes to like figuring out guilt and deciding punishment. So like even with those like past societies, like it's not like they were like run in the best ways. Kafka for Java, the area of the world that is the world's oldest civilizations. Yeah. Wait, Rojava is certainly not a tribe. Okay. I'll look into it, but I don't think it's like feasible. I think like in the way that we want to run societies, I think we look at like sometimes the best parts of these societies and not necessarily that what the issues with some of these societies when you talk about communism. In terms of greed, that is something that society is embedded on us to believe it's a natural phenomenon, which I don't believe is correct historically. I mean, your instinct is to like protect yourself and take care of your own needs and the needs of the people that you care about, typically. Even in, again, yeah, actually, I would say this is backed up by history, because even in times where like you did not necessarily need all the resources around you, if there was another tribe near you, you would typically try to take out that tribe just because of the fact that like you want the like plethora of resources and not have anyone else impeding on your territory. I'm agnostic. Okay, yeah, that's actually kind of where I am. I typically live in the agnostic zone. My views on like God and like whether there is a God are kind of different than whether there's a what the fuck is going on here? I don't know. Whether religion is good versus like whether God exists, I think are two separate questions. So I'm like agnostic in terms of like whether there is a God or whether there is like some higher power, versus like religion. I think is like religion is bad in politics, which is almost always creep in. It's hard not to when like religion is so tied into some of this, like some of our into our societies in a lot of ways. If you want communism, join a religious group. Amish people are fantastic communists. Yeah, actually, that's kind of true. Like, the Amish do live kind of in those type of communes because everyone takes care of each other in that way. But you're still living within the government, like they still live within like government rules. I like the hair, kid. Thank you. It's been a while, Lude. How's it going? People do incest, I hear. Wait, who was that to? Oh, Amish people? Yeah. Look, Amish have a lot of issues. They're like good communes, but again, like you can look at like the good parts of like how like communism works, but like there's so many issues with it too. Like a lot of these communities have like all their other issues. They don't have a hugely diversified family tree, but they don't do incest. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some incest, at least by like second cousins. I wouldn't be shocked. Still alive. Let's chat soon. Yeah, sure. I take back my apology then. Wait, who was that to? Talnith? Oh, what the fuck? What is happening? Fuck off. I don't want these emails. Not exactly. They usually prefer the option of trade instead of violence. You're just deceived and tend to, wait. Describe, wait, what? That tended to be the last resort. I recommend David Graeber's The History of Humanity and the Debt in the First 5,000 Years. It's the most robust observation of human society and history. It's really complex to describe like some of these issues. I don't think one person is ever right on this. Like from what I've learned, because I've taken quite a few archaeology and anthropology classes. Second cousins and cousins are allowed by the prophet. Okay, fuck off. Okay, it's weird. I don't care. If anyone says that it's okay to marry second cousins, it's fucking weird. I know people who've married second cousins. We're not saying it doesn't have issues. The question is more important that we should be asking which system is the most effective. I agree. We should be asking which is the most effective, but I don't think communism is the most effective. I will be honest. I think capitalism allows for more growth in the development of like new technologies in general, because I think it incentivizes people to invent and create more than communism would. Which it depends on like whether you value that or not. Like for me, I think I value like growth of new technology or new like innovation. Whereas like if you don't value that, then it might not be as it might not be something that like you put top tier as much. Whereas like for me, I don't think communism incentivizes that in the same way. Like a lot of medical advancements come out of capitalism just because the nature of like incentivization can happen through capitalism. Yeah, I'll check him out. I have no idea who he is. I'm going off what I've learned in my studies so far. Hey, Magikarp, you're back. Welcome. Deep topics. Oh, don't date your cousins. Yeah, that's usually a pretty good rule. Jesus. I guess we're switching kind of into the religious topics. Most advancement happens during war. That's true, but that's also because like there's a lot of money flowing during war times, and you also need the advancements during war, usually in terms of medical and technological advancements. I think medical is one of the best like shows of like when it comes to medical advancement. I also disagree, and so would Cuba's doctors who've accomplished more in terms of medicine and vaccines than the United States has ever had. I need some type of source on that. Because as much as I dislike the U.S. for a lot of reasons, the U.S. during its like peak years had some of the most intense medical advancements in the world in terms of like creating new drugs. And like vaccines is one thing, but like in terms of medicine, the U.S. developed a whole shit ton of like medical advancements in the last like 40 years or something, whatever it was, like post need more war. No wars. No war. Maxwell, no. Look, I'm a little bit of a protectionist just because I'm mostly just anti-war. I think we need like all the citizens of the world. I know this is like a pipe dream, but if all the citizens of the world just like agreed not to like join any more armies of anywhere in the world, they couldn't have wars. I think wars should be fought with every like political leader. If you want to go to war with a country, the political leaders of the two countries have to get in a boxing ring. Like I want to see Putin and Biden have to like duke it out in a boxing match, like a YouTube style boxing match. I think that's the way we should solve things, you know? Throw Trump, Biden, Putin, and Trudeau in a boxing ring and let them fight it out, and whoever wins gets the other person's country. Thoughts? That's yeah. Money in medicine is a cripple. Look at the different vaccines being developed separately without sharing info, being rushed to be the big payday. That's true, but also a lot of our medical advancement comes out of the idea of like wanting to be able to like, because, okay, if you didn't have the money incentivization, there would be less incentivization to create new vaccines. This was a huge problem in Russia, post-USSR because, or was it post-USSR, whatever it was, there was a point in time where Russia had a lot of issues with new development because there wasn't like the same incentivization for new development. So for a while, Russia fell really behind on any type of new development because their systems was set up more socialistic than capitalistic. But that's a whole other conversation. I'm too tired to get into right now. But maybe I'll do a stream on that later. Cuban medicine practices is pretty high quality, but I'd put that on a country instead of its ideology. Here's a small example. Okay. I will link that. Trudeau might be good at something finally. Maybe. I don't think he'd beat Putin, but that's because wasn't Putin in like the KGB or whatever? Yeah, I don't think fuck, we'd all be ruled by Russia if actually that was like my go-to plan. Local politics. Tell them old fucks to squabble up. Just saying, a quick Google search that anybody can do is look up Cuba medicine advancement. You can gather much information about it. Yeah, no, I usually when people give me information, I'll just be like, what are you sourcing that from? Oh God, the posture checks. Okay, I can't set up any hierarchies, so I'll go out of frame. Jesus. The incentive is for government to have healthy people, especially when you have a healthcare system. Not necessarily, because healthy people don't spend as much on medicine. So government isn't necessarily incentivized to have a healthy population. It just depends. It's a little convoluted, but it's hard to say that like you can't take money out of the equation because you do have like there is a lot of incentive push to like develop new drugs because like if your company develops a new drug for a certain type of disease, right, and you know you'll reap the benefits on that drug for the next 10 years because you have a patent on it, then you're like going to be really incentivized because you're like our company is going to make a lot of money if we are able to develop this drug. Every country is hiding tech, yeah. If world leaders fought for power, then we end up like idiocracy and elect a president like they had in the movie. I have no idea what that is in reference to. My bad. Trudeau slaps up Putin. That dude is old and sick. Are you? Wasn't Putin in the KGB? I don't know if Trudeau could slap up anyone. Kind of a sissy. No offense. Actually, full offense. I don't like Trudeau. Computers, phones, nanotechnology, and microprocessors were created by public funds. Specifically, they were military projects that were majority created by Soviet Union. Okay, as much as that's true, again, it's like one of those things. It wasn't necessarily like the incentive wasn't money in that case. The incentive was to be able to like destroy other countries because you want like a strong military. It wasn't like it was just like, oh, it's public funds because we like wanted to have new development. It was public funds used to like fund the military. Those are two separate things. And like public funds for the sake of like using public funds to develop for the sake of like just helping society is not the same as using public funds for the sake of like bolstering your military. It's way too behind. Wait, oh, I have no idea what's going on. Medicine in the USA is money driven, not health driven. Yeah. He's old and sick. Is he really? Is he sick? And you like Putin? Great guy he is. He would win. Oh God, now we're just gonna be in a whole. I feel like I've had this debate before with like my group of like who would win in a fight, like Biden, Trudeau, or Putin. But so many people put their Putin used to run the KGB. Putin wins a boxing match 20 years ago, not now. Dude walks like a penguin, can barely move his right arm. Oh wait, really? I don't know. I never know what he looks like. I don't watch videos of Putin. True, but a lot of countries, including Canada, where I am, benefit from it. We get tons of free samples of everything from drug reps because we don't need to make money in Canada Fund. Okay, so it's not the fact that like Canada gets like free samples or whatever. It's the fact that like Canada usually has, because the way the U.S. knows that its medical system can upcharge on drugs, but they'll sell them to other countries for cheaper because they know that other countries are selling them at like a lower rate. So like, but they can still make money by selling them. But like that's why like the drugs are more costly in the U.S. But we do reap the benefits. But we still, yeah, I don't know. The conversation passed. There's too much going on. It doesn't matter because you stated capitalism has the advantage on innovation. I stated a lot of these innovations were government created. Military, not a government entity, yes or no? Yes, it is. But what I'm saying is like communism in itself doesn't incentivize development, because communism is supposed to be like, you wouldn't have a state, right? You wouldn't have a government. Communism doesn't have a state. It has like it's community self-governance usually. though there's other modes, but like it's a stateless society. So like without a government, you wouldn't have a military either. So development by the government for the sake of military wouldn't be the same. Because and like if you're talking about like government development and having public funding, you're thinking more towards socialism at that point. Trudeau wipes, and if you don't think so, you're brainwashed. Trudeau had a boxing match a bunch of years back. Did he really? Are we gonna watch that? Brian would trip and break his head. My wife is a doctor. She calls up her reps for patients. They get free meds, months, even the expensive stuff. Yeah, but that's because we have coverage in Canada for that type of. True, Trudeau, Putin, Biden, fighting wise. You get the good. Oh my God, there's so much going on in chat. You get the good curative medicine, but you wouldn't need it with preventative. The greedy approach still hurts the patient. That's true, but that's also more complex than we probably can get into here. Self-government is a form of government. Yeah, but you wouldn't have a military. Like, if you're saying that military was like the reason that they had that development, if you had communistic societies, I don't think you would have military in the same way. You wouldn't have anything pushing for the sake of that, like, for that development. You learned that walk from KGB, and the stiff right arm is to guard his firearm. No firearm in a boxing match unless he cheats. The state is not the same as a government, and no, socialism is not public funding or ownership. No, but socialism advocates for strong social safety nets and social support, right? You would have a lot more like socialized. Also, innovation existed before capitalism existed, and in stateless societies before. Yeah, but a lot more innovation happened under capitalism. Like, post-capitalism. Also, yeah, we had, like, we went from, like, feudalism to capitalism, like, pretty quick. Or unless you're talking about, like, pre-feudalism. But then, like, again, like, innovation wasn't, like, at the rate it is now. Putin, Trudeau, Biden. Putin has more belts than I do in my closet. Socialism doesn't have anything to do with government. I have no... Yeah, Wait, I don't know what that is. A key Satanist? I have no idea. Crap, my battery's on 2%. Oh my God, go chart. Oh, do people watch on their phones? I feel like I never use my phone to watch Twitch because I hate the Twitch app. I just use it. I just have like Twitch on my app just in case anyone messages me. But like, I don't... Also, if I ever want to like stream out... Should I start doing IRL streaming? I don't think I should. I don't want to IRL stream, actually. Just kidding. I don't want to do that. That sounds awful. Doesn't matter how many belts he has, the man is old and crippled. Can we just look up a video of Putin walking? Now I need to see the penguin walk. Oh, I didn't mean to close that. Putin walking. I need to see what he looks like when he walks. Now I need to know. But the big innovation you just highlighted was due to capitalism, was actually government funded, government project. Not necessarily. Wait, that depends on what you're talking about. There's been a lot of innovation in like the past, like, also, even if it's like public funded, could it not be for like capitalistic reasons? I feel like that's a little bit. Wait, what are you talking about? Wait, what? We gotta get a fight so you will pick the wrong fighter. Let's all better life savings. Jesus, what is happening? Why? What is happening? There's two or three different chats going on. Oh, he's walking with a limp. How old is this? Mute. Oh, this is from recent. Why Putin trolls Trudeau? Wait. Give an example of a capitalist invention? I mean, a lot of medical stuff, like, recently, in, like, the past, like, again, like, in U.S. history, a lot of medical stuff. Like, general research for medical stuff and for science in general comes from public funding by government. But more of, like, the specified stuff, a lot of, like, our scientific specified and medical specified is all under capitalist because it's all company-based. Like, a lot of your, like, major drugs that, like, people use are all like again, like the general research comes out of public funding, but all of like our specific drugs are usually out of private corporations. Cotton gin. Um, he's walking with a limp. He doesn't look that stiff to me. Maybe he is. How old is Putin? Maybe if he's old enough. How old is Putin? Your pop is off. Yeah, I don't know. We had a lot of different conversations. Okay, this all started with sex work, preacher. Okay, we were talking about sex work and sex work laws and prostitution, and now we're talking about why Putin, and somehow we've gotten back on communism. Why is it like my last two streams have all just been like getting me on capitalism versus communism? Law's stiffer than Trudeau. He's old. 69. Fuck yeah. Nice. He's a quick boy. Yeah, he's good at running away from things. We all know that, okay? That was actually created in feudal period in Japan. Or, sorry, why the fuck did I say Japan? China. Ran past the news cam. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how we got here, okay, preacher? Leave. I don't know what happened. It happens, okay? That's just... why on earth do you lie? It was made in the 5th century in India first. God, you're terrible at lying. How did you go from... Was it me? Are we still talking about the cotton gin? What is cotton gin? I have no idea what that even is. Should I be looking this up on my stream? Was it invented and where? A lot of things in medicine don't get developed because there's no way to profit off of it because it leads to a lot of dead ends. That's also true. I would agree with that, especially like for less like common diseases. There's a lot of there's very little incentive to create drugs because like if there's like only like maybe 5 people with the disease in the entire state, what's the point of creating a drug for it, right? Because you're not going to make money. So I agree that capitalism has its issues. But again, when like you have like capitalism, like these companies solving stuff like diabetes drugs, or I think EpiPen's is one of the big ones. All right, I gotta go to bed. Good night, night, Max. When you have like stuff like that being developed that is like helping wide swaths of people, I'm not saying there's no issues with capitalism. I'm just saying I think like it's probably the best option we have right now. I don't know if I'd be pro-communism at this point in history. Capitalism didn't even exist at the time. You just said it was a capitalist invention, so wrong. Are you talking about like just modern capitalism or capitalism in general? Because capitalism is just anything where you have like free market, fuck. You dare to take away the proud history of India and give it to the China? Jesus, what is happening? Man, they just gave it to the white guy on this one. Was it Indian invention? Found in 5th century in the Buddhist paintings depicting a single roll of gin in the... Oh, there you go. The earliest evidence. Also, even if it was developed way back then, it also wasn't communist then. You probably would have been like, what, like feudalism? What was happening in the 5th century? I'm really bad at history. Don't ask me about history stuff. I didn't say it was communist, but that's like the thing is like if we're comparing like I don't think this is like a oh I guess Talmuth brought it up so never mind. I guess that's not on you. Yeah. Well, I don't know what was happening in 5th century India. I have no idea. Okay, chill. I'm just saying, like, I don't know what like the systems at the time you would call like do we consider barter systems like capitalism, like running your own business and bartering? Like, what is like, or is that just a barter system? What is like the definition of capitalism? What is like the strict definition? Capitalism. Economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit rather than by the state. When was when did capitalism start existing? How can you like how do you quantify when capitalism started existing? Because if you had like just any country where like yeah, if trade was controlled by private ownership for profit rather than by state, like that's a really broad definition, right? Like can you really say when like capitalism came into existence, or like are we just talking about like modern capitalism the way it exists now didn't exist back then? Because then I would have to agree. But like by this definition, even barter systems are technically capitalism, right? Unless I don't know if we're considering those completely different things. Hi Nornix. I'm no. Oh, thanks for the follow though. So the cotton gin was an engine for cleaning cotton. The first similar types of roller cotton seed remover was in the 5th century. The engine was created for capitalism because the Indian concept didn't work at all for the type of cotton produced in the U.S. In the U.S., cotton gin was developed from capitalistic. Wait, what? Oh, I see. That's why it was like recreated later on in the U.S. Okay, I see what you're saying. But yeah, I don't know what definition of capitalism are you using, Wolf Skeptic? That's kind of like my, I guess, more specific question in this case, because like depending on how you're like defining these things, it's hard to like decide when it started. I guess we're off the prostitution stuff. I'm gonna close some of these. I'm actually gonna read this article you sent me, and I'm gonna update my title. Okay, there we go. That's updated. Regina woman who was diagnosed with lung cancer and given a year to live says she's now in remission thanks to a vaccine she received in Cuba. Typical ANCOM definition of cat come from the Industrial Revolution. Yeah, like that's the thing is like, where the profits are in command and the market driven of the economic decisions made by proponents of capital who own private property, where there's a division, people who individually own the means of production in the hierarchical fashion, and people who work for the people who own the means of product. Where the owner class extras the value of labor and that is being produced by people from lower class. Wait, but like under that definition, someone who runs their own business and only works for themselves, like if you're self-employed, you wouldn't be like, would that not count as part of the capitalistic market? That's a really intense, hold on. Where the profits are in command and market driven of, wait. Bro, what the fuck? Capitalism is an abstract idea. It's like saying the fruit of a tree came from land. If I plant it in another land, it will still keep its path. I don't know what that was. Oh, I see what that was in response to. Talking about like, see, the problem with talking about these things in like history is like a lot of these definitions came later on, so it's hard to like ascribe them to older systems. But like by general definitions, because like Amazing Wolf Skeptic, you're using like a really specific definition, right? But general definitions, like capitalism could go back way further. It was just kind of defined later on within like the system that it kind of evolved out of, and then when we like actually put a definition on it. But like if you want to like ascribe these ideas to like way earlier societies, you probably could, even within barter systems where people are like running their own businesses and have laborers below them who help them, right? Capitalism is an economic system based on the private ownership of the means of production and their operation for profit. Central characteristics of capitalism include capital accumulation, competitive markets, price system, private property, property right recognition, currency, trade exchange, and wage labor. No, you can't. Wait, no, you can't what? You can't be. Was that in terms of my self-employment and be part of the capitalistic market? Because then I would think this is probably not a good argument. Because private property did not come into existence until Qing Dynasty. Is that true? I'm pretty sure private property, like the idea of private property and having like land ownership. When was the Qing Dynasty actually? I have no idea. Make me look up history now. How do you guys know all this shit? This is the 13th century. Lasting from 1644 to 1912. How old are property rights? Oldest examples of private property rights. It isn't true private property was long before that. Yeah, I feel like private property has existed probably through a decent amount of history. Property, land ownership, property came into a legal definition. Okay, legal definitions, but that's different than actual existence. What's not a good argument? Well, I'm saying like wait, what was your comment? Because I thought no, you can't actually. I thought that comment was in reply to my comment about whether a person who's self-employed can be part of a capitalistic market. I don't know, but if that wasn't what that was in reply to, then it's different. You mean like the codified into law or just the concept? Because my kill is mine. No, you don't get it. That's private property. Yeah, technically, like just ownership of any type of property, even if it's not like legalistic. Like there's no government contract or like any civil contracts that are keeping it yours. I think some private property could exist. Like having a home, like is private property. I haven't made an argument. I'm not trying to make like an intense argument here. I'm just like kind of like critiquing like what your conceptual understanding is in this case. I meant to say you can adhere to that way. You can adhere the way an idea develops to. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read this and I can't. The way an idea develops to it, not the whole idea, unless it conflicts with the ideology. Farming and medicine aren't exclusive to capitalism or communism or socialism. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. You'll need to put more content in your response. You know the difference between personal property and private property. Yeah. Not private property. Okay, that's a fair argument then. Because I guess if private property is only referring to like legal concepts, but then like again, I'm trying to think if like there's older examples of like legal legal ownership of like property. At least in my own history, like of like what I know, but I don't know if I have enough history knowledge to like think about that then. Have you read Marx? Not a lot, a little bit, not a ton. I'm not making a strong argument. I'm just saying I think like from the way people operate today, I think like for me, I don't know if communism would like work in a globalist society that we live in now. I think I'd have to think more. It's also really late for me. Sorry if I'm not making a whole lot of sense. I'm so fucking dead tired. I've been out for like 12 hours today and then I came home and started streaming. I wasn't planning this to be such an intense stream. When you brought up living in a house, that's not a good argument. It's personal property. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. But again, like I was trying to think of like if there was like legal ownership of like private housing. I think I didn't explain that well. I'm saying like was there like legal ownership or like could there be, because like legal is such a modern term in terms of like we have contracts that work. I'm an hour ahead of you. Yeah, I've just been out for like 12 hours today. I'm tired. Yo, it's been forever. How's it going, Speedy? Ownership of hunting tools. Well, okay, so ownership like in terms of like private property like has a legal definition. Okay, maybe you're better at like managing after 12 hours. I was trying to stream. I'm tired. I haven't slept a lot. Like I'm a mess, okay? I just finished finals. Like I'm not on top of my game. That's all I'm saying. And I also wasn't prepared to, what do you define as ownership? Like some type of like legal standard, but again, like legal standards have changed so much throughout history. Like could a legal standard just be like there's punishment for like the act of like violating this like social contract, right? Because like we might not have had like strict legal systems in like history before like the 1600s, but like there might still have been like some level of like legal ownership in the terms of like your society would punish you if you violated these ideas. And in that case, like that society would have like that level of legal standard, not necessarily like contract level legal standard. Ownership. Were you the girl playing MC? Yeah, I used to play a lot more Minecraft on here. And we related on both being politically homeless. Oh yes, yeah. That was us. That was me. It's been a while. Is that a necessity? What do you, oh, we're talking about like capitalism versus communism. I don't know how we always end up on this conversation on my channel now these days. I was like moderating a discussion on my channel yesterday and I didn't give many of my own opinions. And then today I ended up giving a lot more opinions generally. And I'm not completely against communism because I like don't mind the idea of communism in theory. I just don't think it's like politically, I don't think it's viable for human society at the time, like currently. I think capitalism probably is much more viable and probably much more, what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Oh God, I can't think of the word. Anyway, I just think capitalism currently is a better system for like pushing society forward, at least for the next little while. I think we're probably headed towards a change in like political systems, but I don't know, or the political or economic system, but I don't know if we're at that point yet. Personal property is anything you can carry about with you for your use. Private property is something that you own, which can be exchanged for value. They overlap heavily, but for communism, the state must own private property, not personal property. State? Wait, no, I thought communism. Okay. That's a decent definition, actually. I kind of agree with Taloneth on that one. Poverty, stealing is bad in the eyes of God. Jesus. I have a bunch of cap rants. I'm not super commie either. Yeah. If you want to know the history of private property, I would recommend Property is Theft by Pierre Proudhon. He writes about the history of it. Okay, I will look that name up actually. Let me pull that up right now just so I can look into it later. The problem is if, a lot of people who write on these things, it kind of gets annoying because a lot of them are like very much politically driven. So like people who write on like the side of capitalism are very capitalist driven, and like the people who write on the side of communism are very communist driven. It's hard to find like unbiased like philosophical standards or like on these type of topics, but I'll look into it. I will like tape it up just for the sake of learning a little bit more. Curveball, flirty, or sassy? Wait, what? Generally? Plan, environmental based side of collapse. I have a lot of grievances with cap. Yeah, I'm not saying capitalism doesn't have its issues. I think capitalism has a lot of issues currently. Emsron, capitalism isn't great, but not even good, but communism is unviable. I would probably agree with that. I think every system is going to have its pros and cons. I think every system does, right? Including capitalism. I think capitalism has a lot of issues, but currently, like the viability of like different systems, I think capitalism is the only thing that's like currently viable. That's probably a good way to put it. Thank you, Emsaron, for helping me out there. That's probably the best way to put it. The definition of capitalism I gave you extremely, extremely good and in-depth definition. Yeah, but when you make the definition so stringent and like so narrow, it's a very intense definition, but like you narrow down the ideas of capitalism so much. I don't think that would never be a definition we'd ever use generally, right? Like I think most of like my political and economic classes like would never use a definition even that intense, because you limit the scope of like what these concepts are. I have hydrated. Fuck off. There you go. That argument basically feudalism is the origin of private property. Wait, I don't know what that was in. The system always never works, and I will ignore all disagreeing info gray area. God damn it, guys, chill. I have a whole rant on why corps will almost never give us anything new ever again, and haven't for years, and they'll not only never fix any problems, but actively go against fixing most, and they pretty much control the gov. I agree with like half that statement, but I think like, again, a lot of the big like conversations about capitalism currently have existed around medicine, and I think that's like one of the only places where we've had like major innovations. What we did in my poli-sci is just political fact 101, and the definition provided is The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. Okay, it's like one definition by one guy, but I'm saying like I don't think any of my political science classes have used like a definition that stringent, because it would be, again, it would, like when you make a definition so specific and so stringent and so narrow, you lose utility of that definition, right? Like now you're like reducing capitalism to something that it almost like is. And again, like even by your capitalist like definition, I was asking whether this is Adam Smith's definition. I don't know. Can you have a business without private property? No, you don't. Wait, what was the no, you don't actually? I give the psi method more props than cap, but cap helped too. Oh, yeah. Fuck, I got into a conversation I wasn't prepared for. I don't have enough, like, political science knowledge to, like, go into depth about these things. These are just, like, my general opinions. Yes, you can have a business outside private property, for example, worker co-op. Okay, I've heard a lot of rants between, like, different people about, like, worker co-ops and, like, how... Because ever heard of Mondragon? No, I have not. But I'm not against the idea of worker co-ops, but I think having every business be a worker co-op isn't viable, because I don't think everyone's going to want to be part of a worker cooperative. I don't know if like that's like something that most of society would want in general, because especially like younger people, when you're getting like early jobs, you probably don't want to be like that integrated into your company at the sense of like you're making major decisions for it. A lot of people like just being workers. And being part of like being part of like a lower tier and just being able to like be a worker and get paid and not have any like investment in the company that you work at. Bitch, I want to be, oh, Jesus Christ. Like we're currently in the gridlock where people are informed by corps, the news kind of, and to hold governments accountable, people need to know about problems, but they can't if not told, and governments don't change unless pressured by the people. Corps don't change unless the people go. Yeah, it's not a good cycle right now. I think it's a whole other discussion that I can't get into. I'm probably gonna end stream in like half an hour at the most. Holy shit, I'm getting tired as fuck. It's been such like a long week for me. I've had so much shit going on, guys. You have no idea. My life's a mess right now. Don't worry, I just finished my semester like literally a day or two ago, And so I will be streaming a lot more after this. Like the next month, I will have lots of streams. So don't worry, we'll be covering lots of different stuff. I think I want to do more religion stuff, but I'll probably do that on my next stream, which will probably be, actually, I might stream tomorrow. We'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to stream tomorrow. And like, I think I want to do a whole stream on religion because I haven't done that since I started. Like in the first month that I was streaming, I talked about religion a lot, and I haven't really done a lot of religious stuff since then. But I like talking about religion a lot because it's something I know more about, and something I probably have stronger opinions on than capitalism versus communism because I'm not a huge economic person. But the only time I like talk about like these things is usually just in terms of like how our society runs right now. Didn't understand, but who's Jesus Christ. Maybe they would actually change their minds if you have them give them the option to work in a co-op. Maybe, but I don't think a lot of society would. Like, I don't think I would want to like. I worked at a small company when I got my first like major job, because I got an opportunity to work. Like I was going into chemistry major in university, and I got a job at a chem lab, and I was able to work like it was just kind of like a summer internship that turned into a full-time job. But it was a small company. It was a startup. And I don't know if I would want to actually have like investment in that company, like especially as like a 17-year-old, someone going into that system. I wouldn't want like a whole hand and fist in that company because it just wasn't like the place for me that I would want to like be part of like the investment in that company because I want to be able to like untether myself like relatively easy. You want to know something funny? That definition of capitalism you keep from Wikipedia. So you're going to say that Wikipedia is very narrow-minded, very funny. I mean, I guess, but like Wikipedia isn't the be-all, end-all. Is it actually the Wikipedia one? I mean, I don't know. Capitalism definition. First thing that comes up from Oxford: economic and political system in which countries trade and industry are controlled by private ownership or profit rather than by state. Let's see the Wikipedia. Where's the Wikipedia one? Why is the Wikipedia one? What about Britannica? Britannica's usually pretty reliable. Capitalism, also called free market economy or free enterprise economy, economic system dominant in the Western world since the break of feudalism, in which most means of production are privately owned and the production is guided by income distributed largely through the operation of markets. Yeah. Britannica is usually a little bit more reliable than Wikipedia, but that seems like a decent definition to me. I have a pretty interesting religious take. Yeah, go nuts with the religion takes. I probably will do a whole stream on it tomorrow, but if you want to like throw a few things in here right now, go nuts. Where you're talking about corps run by unions, workers having elections. That's a bit of a straw man. Yeah, kind of a weird appeal to authority in that case. Just Wikipedia. I don't think she was saying she distrusted Wiki. Maybe a bit more complex and gray. It's very narrow-minded to reject the same definition from several sources. What do you mean? Okay, I mean, yeah, I guess the ones I saw like when I first got into Google, Britannica, Merriam-Webster, I guess like definitions. Private corporate capital goods, the investment are determined by private decisions, and by prices, production, and distribution of goods that are determined mainly by competition in a free market. She wasn't outright rejecting it though. You don't have to 100% agree or disagree. Yeah, I don't think I ever like was hardcore going against that. Oh god, my hair. It was very narrow-minded. You want to know who also defined capitalism? Milton Friedman and F.A. Hayek? Is that true? I would have to look into this more. Like, it just seemed like a really long definition I had never heard before, and I've taken like quite a few political science classes at this point, but I don't know. I might have heard it once, but maybe I just didn't read my textbook closely enough. Capitalism and freedom. How many of these people are pro-capitalism, or are they all like more communist leaning or anti-capitalism? That would also be an interesting. I'm gonna look up these people really quick. F.A. Hayek. Classic defense of classical liberalism. Okay. I don't want to instigate, but skeptic. You don't agree with something, but still have criticisms. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm coming from. I'm not like saying like I'm outright rejecting your definition. I'm just saying I think like generally like these definitions, if they become too narrow, it's hard to like, especially when like if you're talking about like a modern sense of the definition, it's hard to like apply it back in history, because like I don't know if I'd call like a lot of our historical like, then it'd be hard to compare history to anything, because like none of our current definitions fit a lot of like what history's systems of economics or governance were, right? So like when you have like a really strict definition of like capitalism or communism or any of these systems, then like you couldn't really apply them to any of history, and we'd have to only look at like the modern like last 200 years at most maybe, to like apply our modern definitions. You can actually, I mean, maybe. I think that's where I know the names, I just don't know. Mercantilism. I don't even remember what mercantilism is. Isn't mercantilism like just like, isn't it more not trade based, but like not non-company based? Oh fuck, let me just look it up. Mercantilism. I'm not gonna have these definitions off the top. Governments use their economies to augment state power at the expense of other countries. Wait, I feel like I heard about mercantilism in high school, and I feel like this wasn't it. Is this the definition you're looking for? Basically, I'm an atheist, but I feel like the way humans guess the world to be and how nature is very different. Basically, everything we find intuitive is usually wrong. We think of simpler shit because our caveman brains don't evolve knowing science, i.e. we think of dragons, universe, black holes. To me, a god sounds way simple. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think like a lot of like, I mean, that's why I think so many like people have religion throughout history and throughout the world, is because like you're usually trying to come up with like, I like think about the Greek gods. Like the Greek gods were all specifically made to like describe different like phenomenons in the world, right? Like the sea, like they like Zeus was like to cover lightning and thunder. You had Demeter for the seasons. Was it Demeter? No, it's not Demeter. Is it Demeter? Fuck, oh my god, why am I so fucking brain dead right now? It's intuitive answers, that's why it's always been a tough sell. I don't think the issue is intuitiveness, I think it's the issue is like simplification. Like I don't think necessarily our intuitions are always wrong, but I think like when things become like when we try to answer things in the most simplest terms, I think that's when the issue is. When we want to simplify everything. But I don't think that's intuition. I think our intuition can like give us like good answers or right answers or lead us on the path to right answers. But it's like the simplification of everything we see in like daily life and not wanting to like, especially when we didn't have the tools to understand those phenomenons, it was one of those things where like if you have no tools to understand how thunder and lightning work, the easiest thing is to like simplify it and be like someone is causing it, right? We see an effect and we assume a cause. So if we think that there's a cause, then we like, well, what can cause things? And then we know humans can cause things, but it's like it's got to be something greater than humans. So we kind of like turn to a god and we ascribe it to like some other existence, or some other being. So I think it's like that simplification. And like Nietzsche wrote, I don't know if you've ever read Nietzsche's philosophy, but I read it in my last philosophy class, and I think he did a really good job explaining this of the nature of knowledge. And Nietzsche makes a really good in one of it. I don't know if you've read The Gay Science or any of it, but I've read like a little bit of it now because of my philosophy class. But I found it really interesting the way he discussed the nature of knowledge. Is he said humans try to make things like more the unfamiliar to the familiar, and that's what knowledge is. So like understanding like something that is unfamiliar. So if we like, you know, you're back in like the ancient times and you see lightning happen, you're trying to like familiarize that event. Yeah, Nietzsche has some really interesting pieces on like that nature of knowledge was really interesting. But it was just trying to like, he basically described like everything that humans do is just trying to familiarize like new things, and that's how we discover knowledge. It's just a familiarization of like things that are unfamiliar. And so I think that's a good way to describe like the way humans try to like understand things when they can't, is like we we know some things and we have familiarized certain things, and when things that are unfamiliar appear, we try to familiarize them in a way to things that we already know. So like, yeah, thunder and lightning, we see a cause, and we know that every cause has an effect because we see that in our daily lives, right? If I pick up this phone and throw it, the effect is that it's going to be like, it's going to fly through the air. So if we see it a cause and effect in that sense, then we're going to try to see everything in our world as cause and effect. So if we see the like existence as the effect, then we assume that there's a cause to our existence, which is why I think like a lot of religion and God come from. But yeah, I don't know. That's I thought Nietzsche was really interesting for that reason. It was one of my most interesting reads. I liked Plato's work, and I liked Nietzsche. We read like 5 different authors. There was David Hume, Rene Descartes, and then Kierkegaard. I forget his first name, but those were like the 3 other philosophers, and they were all kind of interesting. I thought Descartes' stuff was interesting. Like the first half of it is like he wrote a lot of the stuff, the works on the I think therefore I am. I don't know if anyone here has watched The Matrix, or not The Matrix. Was it The Matrix? Yeah. The quote I think therefore I am came from a lot of Descartes work. And then we read David Hume, and his dialogues were interesting. I just didn't find them super interesting. Kierkegaard, I didn't find that interesting. But then Nietzsche I liked at the end of my semester. I like that definition, the relations we made. Yeah. If any of you are interested, I think Nietzsche's The Gay Science might be online somewhere. You probably can download it somewhere. Just really interesting passages, and all the like you can read it in like sections, because every couple of paragraphs is like just a new section, not like a new thought or a new idea. So the stuff is really easy to read. I actually liked. I might actually go through and read like the whole thing just because my semester's over and it might be an interesting thing to look at. Maybe I'll cover it on stream. Maybe that'd be kind of a fun way to cover stuff on stream. I'll just go through all my like philosophy stuff that I've learned recently. Let's see. We assume there's meaning because we wouldn't make something big for no reason. Because fuck you, there's no Plato's cave. No, I read, or sorry, not Plato. Yeah, no, Plato. We read Euthyphro and we read the Meno. It was out of his like the five dialogues or whatever he wrote. Whatever that writing was, that book. Like all my little rants. Yeah. I think everyone's kind of pieced out after that communism debate died down. Oh, too intense. I feel like I always end up like with people mad. Oops, I just opened my own Twitch stream. Lol. Just, my streams are getting more people in them every stream. Like my streams used to be like, I think even like just a few months ago, I'd have like at most 5 or 6 viewers at a time. Oh, it cracked my knee. And now my streams, I think like now that it's just a few of us here, I can rant a little bit. My streams like kind of grown, like doubled in size over the last like couple of months. And like, I know it's not big, but like that difference, I think as like from, because I've only started streaming in like the last year, going from like the 5 or 6 at the top end of my viewers to now having like averaging like 10 to 15 viewers, during my streams. I'm like, there's a lot more people to manage, and I don't mind it, but it's just, it's an interesting, switch. And I think like, I see a lot more people who get very intense over stuff. So I fight with a lot more people, but I enjoy it. But I'm like, oh, other people actually are getting super heated. But I like fighting with people on my channel. That's what I do. I love to debate. I love to argue, even if I'm not super informed. But I'll always say, like, if I'm like not informed on something, I'll just be like I don't know. Like, economics is not my strong suit. I don't know a shit ton about these economic systems. I'm like, these are just my, like, from what I know, I'm like, these are my thoughts and like what I believe is like the best way to run things. But you know, some people will get really mad at you for opinions, so that's fine. Okay, short rant over. I would watch that for sure because I get so lazy when it's about reading. YouTube fucked my attention span. Honestly, same. It's so hard. I used to read so much as a kid too. I was like such a big reader. But my philosophy class, I do all my readings because I love philosophy. So like that's like one class where I do all my readings. My other classes, I'm really bad at like keeping up with any readings. Like I took a couple, like I had my stats class, then I had like quantitative and qualitative research classes, and I had textbooks that I had to read, and I just never did. I was so lazy with it. But it's just not as interesting. Whereas like philosophy, no, that's fucking interesting. But no, that'd be kind of a fun, like, if I do a segment, like, a couple times a week, we do, like, a breakdown of, like, a little, like, philosophy thing. I think it'd be kind of fun. Like, my analysis, like, I read this part, and, like, if you guys want to read along with me, like, maybe I can, like, so I go to university right now, and we have, like, a whole library that allows us, like, access to, like, books that you probably can't get online otherwise, because, like, we have, like, a library, like, an online library that, like, allows us access. I could download them from there and send them out on, like, the Discord, and then if people want to read along, and then, like, we could have, like, discussions about, like, the philosophy readings, like, once or twice a week. It'd be kind of like a fun segment where everyone comes in and gives their, like, analysis of what they got out of the reading. I think it'd be kind of cool. I think it'd be kind of fun. Maybe we'll try to do that. I want to do more educational stuff like that. I think it's kind of fun because I love philosophy. I just don't know how well it would do, but if you guys would be interested, let me know. Maybe that's something we could start. I never read a ton really or looked up other people's ideas, but I've heard Plato thought of an idea politicians should have to live in the same standard of living as people, which is smart in my opinion. Yeah, I know Plato wrote stuff on that, and I think honestly that's like the thing. Me and my friends have talked about this, but we think that philosophy is too round. Me and my friend were talking like if I think a politician's income should be based on their approval rates by public. Like if you have a certain approval rate when you get into office, if your approval rate goes down, then your salary goes down. Whereas if your approval rate improves, because obviously there should be a baseline, because like if you're in a like two-party system, especially in the States, right, you're always gonna have like probably 50% disapproval. But like if you go in with like 50% disapproval, right, you start at like a, I don't know, 50 grand average, right? And then if your approval increases because the other side starts to like you, then your income could go up. Whereas like if your approval goes down because your side starts to dislike you for stuff you're doing, then your salary goes down. It would keep people accountable. I think that'd be kind of a good idea. Personally, that's my way to do it. I would think it should be based on approval of your constituents. Suffering from success. Yeah, sorry, that was a short rant. I think I was just like, I don't know how to handle like bigger chats now because I'm like, I don't think I should be replying to every single message, but especially when I'm having like discussions on here, I try to reply to as many people as possible, but it's hard. It's getting more difficult to reply to every comment. But if I get into it with somebody, I try to go back and forth with them a little bit. I kind of want to also do more stuff where I bring people onto my Discord and like have conversations. I'm a little bit scared of that just because people are stupid. But I think it'd be kind of fun to also bring people into like the conversations on my Discord because I have channels where I can drag people in and then you do like a half an hour discussion with me and then like it goes on to the next person. I think that'd be kind of a fun segment too. Especially with the philosophy stuff. If I had like people who are reading along with me and want to do those discussions online, I think it would be super fun. But we'll see. I'm going to try to figure out how to set that up over this month because I have some time off right now. And I think that'd be kind of a cool way to use the platform. Not gonna lie, I really hate drama. I want to keep it chill, but Wolf Skip was getting on my nerves. Maybe I'm just emotionally unregular today. Maybe. I think people get really, and I don't judge them too hard because I think people get really attached to like their political views, especially in this day and age. So I understand why people go really hard. I didn't like the condescendingness sometimes. When people in my chat try to condescend me, I'm like, look, I'll be honest when I don't know enough about a situation, and I'll be like, these are just my opinions. Like, I don't have like a perfect opinion. I don't have like the perfect historical knowledge. I don't know how like all of these different things, but like if you start getting condescending with me, I'll kind of get annoyed and be like, okay, I'm not engaging anymore because like you're clearly just trying to preach at me and not have a discussion or try to educate. And I think that gets me annoyed, so I like kind of disengage at that point. I appreciate this you bring for discussion. Thank you. I appreciate that. I like that's all I want to do. That's why I like when people who have different political, because I'm like center left. I like when people with other like either further left than me or further right than me have come on because it's fun to talk with people who agree, but it's also really fun. I always like the interesting conversations with people who disagree because I think that's like the way you learn, right? You learn from people who disagree with you. You'll never learn from people who are the exact same as you. But it's actually effective. The real way to do it is paying them based off how many femboys they generate. Oh god, I'm sorry on you and your femboys. My goodness. I'd be down for that. Yeah, same exactly. I really enjoy the intensity of arguments, not gonna lie. Yeah, that's me. My family's like that though. My family's always been like very heavy debaters. Like we all politically are like kind of different points on the spectrum, especially on different topics. And so it's one of those things where my family we all grew up like debating. We love to have arguments, like, and it's always in good fun. Like it's never caused any like big family divides or anything. It's just one of those things that like my family loves to do. Even like my broader family, like my extended family, like we'll all hang out and like we love to do this shit. Like all my aunts and uncles, my grandparents, like everyone's in on it. So I'm like really used to it and I really enjoy it and I know how to engage in it in a healthy way. But I don't think a lot of people have that. I think a lot of people get really like emotionally attached. But you know, it happens. And I knew that starting this platform that there would be people like that. I've had like people, I remember there was one time where I got into it with a guy about student debt forgiveness, and he got really mad because I was like, I think student debt forgiveness in the States would be really stupid. And he sent me like a 16-paragraph rant on my DMs, and I was like, oh God, what have I done? That was kind of funny. That was like probably the worst interaction I've had, but other than that, it's been okay. Like I'm pretty smart, but part of that's knowing I don't know everything. Yeah, exactly. You should know. You should read Plato then, because his whole thing was like, the smartest people are the people who realize they don't know anything. God, I love Plato. And fucking relate. Same. Well, I really can't relate to the current left, but never related to the right. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I'm at. Is like, it's really hard to engage with the current left, but I would never go like to the right because I think like the right has a lot of bad ideas in general, but the left is like swinging so hard. It's getting hard to follow the curve that they're taking, and I feel like I'm falling further and further to the center. But I don't know if it's center. I don't know if it's just center online or if it's center in general. Like I don't know what the like. It's so hard to tell what general public opinions are anymore when it comes to like um, politics in general. It's not a good time right now. But that's why I started this like channel, right? Is I just want to like see what people's opinions were. Especially as a smaller channel, you can get like a little bit more diversity of opinion. When you get into big chats and stuff, like I love going into other streamers. I love watching other streamers. I don't like go into the chats though because it's not worth it to like interact in that way for me. Because I don't think like for me it's hard to like type back and forth with a person in a chat. Centrist gang, honestly. How did I become a centrist though? Like my parents all like in my household, like my dad's like more right wing. My mom and brother are pretty center, and my brother can be center left, center. My mom can be center right to center like left, like just depending on like what topic we're talking about. And then I was always usually like the most far left in my family, which I don't think I like in high school I was pretty far left, but then as I got out of high school I became like a little bit more moderated, but I was still like left wing of everyone in my family. So like compared to the people I know in my real life, I'm pretty left. But then when I get online, it's like I'm like people call me a fucking Nazi, and I'm like, how did that happen? How does that happen? Where did this come from? I'm like sitting here like I'm like a normie leftist in my real life, but then I get online and I'm like considered a fascist. So it's I don't know, politically homeless in that sense, you know. Like yes, toxic masculinity bad, but toxic femmes equally. Yeah, no, I would agree. I think like sometimes like the left doesn't understand how to like. The left has a really hard time criticizing any minority group anymore, and I think that's the problem. Unless you're criticizing them in regards to like another group, like a lot of people have like will not criticize women for toxic femininity, but they will criticize white women in terms of feminism, compared to like people of color and like women of color and feminism, right? It's really hard for like I think leftists to like criticize the minority group of a situation, and that's getting a little bit hard to manage. In the 90s, I'd be a leftist. Yeah. I want a combo or I'd watch YouTube vid. Yeah, I would. I think I'm going to start trying to bring you guys on more to have like conversations back and forth because it's hard to just converse through chat because things move so fast and like I can talk faster than you guys can type. So I do want to do more. So I think like the two big things I want to move towards is doing like some philosophy content. Because I like obviously I'm not like a philosophy scholar or anything, but I like philosophy and I think it's interesting to discuss, especially if other people are reading the same stuff. And I could try to send out like I can download PDFs of like the stuff we're gonna read and then send them out to people, anyone who wants to engage in the discussion. And then I can have like people sign up to like come on the channel and have those discussions each week. And then I think I also like so then like I have like the philosophy stuff and then also have like political discussions and have like philosophy discussions, but like on an actual voice chat instead of just in like in the chat. But I don't know. I think that's where like I'm trying to take my channel next. Online opinions. Way too fucking emotional. That infuriates me. Everyone is mentally the same. That's the point. Racism doesn't work because everyone's the fucking same. Yeah, the whole I don't like the racism against white people that's become so prevalent. It's a little weird to me. It's we're not in a good position right now. Okay, I'll spam emotes in the meantime. Hello. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap up stream here for the night. It's getting pretty late for me. It's almost 1 a.m. and I've been streaming for over 2 hours. I try not to end my stream before 2 hours. I try to go for at least 2 hours. So we've hit the 2 hour mark and I'm getting tired, but I will try to be I'll probably be streaming in a different location tomorrow actually because um I'm gonna be out, so I might be streaming at a different house. But yeah, I will try to stream tomorrow. If not, maybe the next day. I might try to do a daytime stream. I don't know what time zone you guys are in, but I might try to stream earlier in the day, like maybe like noon to like 4 o'clock. I might try to do like a daytime stream, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Um, but yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap up stream for the night. I appreciate everyone who's hung out. Anyone who's still here, I think people are filing out now, but I have a Discord for anyone who wants to join that. It's the best place to reach me for topics, or if you want to give me ideas, or if you just want to chat, like I have a Discord. Join my Discord, that's the best place. I have a Twitter, I don't fucking use it, but you can follow me on there if you want to. But I think I'm gonna wrap up stream tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out and chatting and being so awesome in the chat. I love when people are like all up in chat and talking to me. It makes it so much more fun and interesting. So thank you guys for hanging out, and I will be back hopefully in a couple of days. I'm gonna read these last few chats and then I'll head out. Um, it's nothing inherent because they had the ability to fuck they were other than the same boat. Yeah. Earlier is pog. Oh, would you actually like earlier streams? Hopefully, okay. I will try to do an earlier daytime stream then. Maybe tomorrow, but if not, then hopefully Tuesday. I don't know. My week this week looks a little bit weird for me, so I will try to stream as much as possible, but we're gonna see how it goes. One of my biggest grievances. Yeah. All right. Good night, guys.